Sports anime. At its heart, it's a genre about the joys of working hard, passion, and friendship while celebrating the sport it focuses on. Sports anime almost always fits into the same mold. It's a genre you can't really go wrong with. Despite all of them pretty much having the same structure, they always end up being so damn entertaining. In some cases, they end up touching your brain so much you almost want to take up the sport for yourself. I know I have on several occasions. Hell, it's because of Skate the Infinity I picked up skateboarding. Though I find it hard to say the same for the anime, Stars Align. An anime about a group of boys in a soft tennis club trying their best to get better and improve their skills in order to save their club from being disbanded. It's an underdog story true and true. But that's just one side of the anime. When we aren't watching the boys play tennis, we're watching them deal with all the trauma they face growing up in less than stable homes with abusive parents that make the anime a lot more dramatic than what you'd expect from the genre. It's definitely a different direction to take a sports anime in, and for the most parts, the anime does try its best to handle the subject matter in a pretty decent way, but it never does quite reach the resolution you're hoping for. Stars Align is an original anime that released all the way back in 2019, animated by Studio 8-Bit. The story follows Maki Katsuragi, who recently transferred to a new school and gets roped into joining the school's boys' soft tennis club by their president and second main character, Toma Shinjo. Maki initially has no interest in joining the club until Toma offers to pay him 10,000 yen a month for staying in the club, only really agreeing to join the club because he does need the money to help support his mother, the two of them recently separating from his abusive father. What starts out as Maki joining the club for money turns into him discovering his passion for soft tennis and genuinely falling in love with the sport. So he and Toma put in their all to help their team become good enough to save it from getting disbanded. Maki joins the soft tennis club at their lowest point. Thanks to the school students council deciding that clubs get funding based on their performances, the boys' soft tennis club lands on the chopping block. The club basically sucks. The players are all incompetent and they've never won a real competition, so they're given an ultimatum. If they can't win a single match in the upcoming summer tournament, their team will get disbanded. So now, thanks to Maki's wit and natural talent, the whole team is able to grow and improve with the goal of winning the summer tournament to save their club. That's pretty much the main story of Stars Align. However, that isn't all there is to it. The anime isn't all good vibes only. Hiding underneath all that is a story about trauma and parental abuse, as almost if not all the characters have one problem or the other with their parents. And while I have to praise the anime for taking the sports genre in this direction, I can't help but also criticize it for the way it presents the topic. The boys of the soft tennis club all have it rough in some way. There's Rintaro, Tsubasa, Tayo, Shingo, Itsuki, and Nao. If those are a lot of names to remember, don't worry, not everyone is given equal screen time, all of whom, save for one of them, carry some kind of trauma in their hearts. Main character Maki has to deal with his abusive father who shows up when his mom is away from work to shake him down for some money. Toma's mother absolutely hates him and can't stand being around him, directing all her love and attention towards his older brother who's in college. Tsubasa's dad hates the fact that he's playing soft tennis instead of a real sport, like football, and sees him as a failure who should be following in his brother's footsteps. Itsuki, Shingo, and Nao all have mothers who seem to hate them for just being themselves. Nao having it the worst since his mother does not approve of his lifestyle and wants to control every aspect of his life. All the boys have to juggle playing soft tennis while dealing with their troublesome home life. You almost forget how bad they have it because of how much good vibes they bring to the club. A testament to just how strong these boys are, that despite all the shit they face at home, they're still able to give it their all for their passion. But damn, it was almost comical how pretty much everyone had one abusive parent or the other. The moment we saw a character at home, you could immediately tell what would be following it next would be one of their parents giving them a hard time. And this isn't just reserved for the boys of the soft tennis club. There's Mitsue, who's an introverted artist that comes to love watching the boys grow in the sport and struggles to take pride in her art while dealing with the hate comments she gets from sharing her art online. And then there's the student council president who is constantly locked right in the middle of fights between her mother and grandmother. They all have something going on behind the scenes. But unfortunately, the anime doesn't really handle that aspect of the story all that well. While the tennis parts are great, the drama does seem to fall short. The worst part about these plot lines is that the anime doesn't really have anything to say about the whole topic. Are they trying to show us the effects domestic abuse has on the mental and emotional state of children growing up? Or are they trying to show us that despite all the traumatic things people go through when they're young, it shouldn't stop them from trying to be good people? It doesn't do either, but instead just gives us drama for the sake of drama. It almost feels like the anime isn't all that confident handling all these sensitive topics and doesn't trust the audience all that well to pick up on these things, which leads to a huge disconnect between the sports bits and the drama bits. Like sometimes they'd bring the story to a jarring halt to have a character suddenly go off talking about their trauma in a way that feels kind of forced. It's unfortunate because at the same time I can see the anime trying its best to handle these characters properly. Like there's this one character, Yu Asuka, who struggles with their gender identity, trying to understand where they belong since they don't exactly feel comfortable as either male or female. You can tell that they've been putting a lot of thought into trying to figure out who they are and who they want to be, not ready to give themselves a particular label just yet. This was a great moment for the anime as it shows that it does have the capability to handle such sensitive topics, but unfortunately, Yu and the rest of the supporting cast get shafted during the anime's run. So for 12 episodes, the anime tries to manage more than 8 characters. Does that sound messy? Absolutely. If they aren't playing tennis or having their abuse on display, they end up not really having anything to do. It does try its best to give them some screen time, but it's never enough to solidify them as good characters. So many story beats and character arcs are introduced during those 12 episodes, but unfortunately almost none of them get resolved by the end of the last episode. Why is that? Initially this was supposed to be a 24 episode anime but got canned during its run, so we ended up with just 12. And let me tell you, the way the last episode ends leaves a lot to be desired. As a finale, it's downright awful, but knowing the circumstances behind the incomplete story makes it a lot more bearable. I'm just saddened that it ends without anything really being resolved. All our characters are left virtually at the same spot they began in, or in some cases, worse, and you can't help but feel tense wondering how their stories would have played out. You are not giving closure in any way whatsoever, and that's truly agonizing. Despite the series ending the way it did 5 years ago, the series creator, Kazuki Akane, is still trying his best to give the series a fitting conclusion, but unfortunately hasn't been all that successful in funding the project. But he's determined to give the series a sequel one way or the other, so we can only hope for the best. And this is where I end the video. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and if you've got any anime you'd like to see me cover, let me know in the comments below. As always, this has been your very favorite slice of bread. Stay toasty.